Hi, I'm Rachel Brown.
I'm Audrey Puckett.
Hannah Johnston.
Peyton Piper.
Brielle McKee.
Andrea Brown.
Okay.
Okay. Justice Albee of the Constitutional Court of South Africa stated, "Scarring comes not from poverty, but from invisibility. It's the tainting of desire, it's the prohibition of expression of love, it's the denial of full moral citizenship in society because you are what you are, and that impinges on the dignity and self-worth of a group." Even today, LGBT people are constantly enduring society's unequal treatment, which damages their self-esteem and happiness. These members of the LGBT community remain the targets of intense shame and abuse, creating isolation. Today, I will address the intense discrimination and unfair circumstances of LGBT people. They endure it all over the world, through different religions, and even in youth. Discrimination of LGBT people proves prominent worldwide. In Kenya, for example, LGBT people endure violent attacks and extensive punishments, essentially abusing and outcasting them. Homophobic mobs have repeatedly attacked LGBT people, and the police chastise the victims, punishing them with 14 years in prison. In fact, in several instances, the police humiliated, dismissed, or refused to take statements of LGBT people who tried to report crimes. Some have been arrested and charged with unnatural offenses, and they've been forced to brave anal examinations as doctors search for evidence of homosexual conduct. Similar circumstances sustain just north of Kenya and Egypt. LGBT people withstand the intense cruelty of society's consistent acts of violence and shame and alienation. One particular situation was known as the largest mass arrest of alleged gays the country had seen in decades. A police officer started arresting men in a Carroll bathhouse, and they herded them into waiting trucks, and then they made them strip half naked and filmed them. In fact, they too had to endure anal checks and strict beatings. According to the Daily Beast, homosexuality is technically not illegal in Egypt, but 150 gays and transgenders are in prison cells. In Argentina, some people actually commit crimes to substantiate their hatred for gays and LGBT people. Numerous unsolved killings have recently jolted in the country. New York Times stated that in October, a woman was tied up, stabbed to death. In another instance, a woman was decapitated. Her body was thrown into a vacant lot. In September, a woman was discovered with, she was also stabbed to death, and a plastic bag was covering her head. Andrea Cantero is a transgender woman who is regularly insulted and threatened over her identity, and she said, "We're people like anybody else, but I feel it was a message to say you're worthless." Although it may seem contradictory, this cruelty even cascades into numerous churches. Some Catholic people belittle and isolate LGBT people, using their beliefs to justify their actions. In fact, some Catholic institutions have terminated individuals' employment because they're LGBT or something. For instance, a transgender woman was once fired from a Catholic high school at the time of her transition, and the school just justified its actions with the Bible. Another woman was fired after 19 years of being a PE teacher because her partner's name was revealed in an obituary. And that was the same for a man. The revelation of his partner's name got his job rescinded. However, the discrimination certainly doesn't confine itself to Catholicism. It actually branches to Mormonism as well. New Mormon decrees simply escalate the religion's mistreatment of LGBT people within the church. An edict handed out in October pronounced, along with gay couples, their children are now banned from memberships until they're 18, and they'll only be accepted if they renounce gay marriage and receive approval from a church leader. This proclamation also barred children of same-sex couples from being baptized, blessed, or confirmed, and made gay marriage grounds for excommunicating members. The church's actions not only outcast the couples, but also their families. In fact, several religions inflict these intense effects upon LGBT people and feel no remorse because they have their beliefs to support them. A similar wrath thrusts itself upon several young people and young adults in the LGBT community. Numerous young people who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender face these bullies and the shame that they inflict upon them. LGBT people, as well as LGBT activists around the world, are targeted not for their activities, but on the basis of who they are. Violence occurs in the home, school, and community. In fact, Scott Quasha, a psychology professor at Brooklyn College, said despite recent cultural shifts, kids get the overwhelming message from society that homosexuality is not acceptable. Several teenagers consistently abuse their LGBT peers because of their sexual orientation or identity, which produces brutal consequences. According to the Journal of Adolescent Health, about 1/3 of gay, lesbian, or bisexual teens report an attempt at suicide. This result stems from intense abuse, as people compare homosexuality to things as unacceptable as incest or violent crime, which gets into the schools where bullying occurs. Through some recent transgender students' transitions, they've definitely felt these repercussions. One girl said that she's experienced an ongoing sense of isolation and ostracism throughout her high school enrollment at school. And for another transgender woman, acceptance proved a rigid obstacle as well, because she stated, "My dad used to tell me that I was going to get shot if I were gay, or if I wore a dress or anything like that. I've been attacked a couple times in the streets for wearing a dress." Overall, most young LGBT people inevitably face intense discrimination from their classmates, family members, and the community, and they suffer the wrath of bullies in their bubble of seclusion. LGBT people of all ages face this intense discrimination worldwide. They're obviously targeted constantly on the basis of who they are. However, it doesn't have to be this way. Even if you don't agree with their beliefs or lifestyle, you should disregard the differences and remind yourself that they're people, and just like anyone else, you should judge them on their personality rather than their sexual orientation or identity. Remember, this community's symbol is the rainbow, and discriminators are dulling its colors, which solely extracts its beauty. Thank you.